I'm Gamliel Shmalo. Thank you for joining me. When examining Korach's rebellion, we can distinguish between four different distinct groups. First, there were Moshe and Aaron, who were beyond reproach, who did nothing to instigate the rebellion, and who did everything to try to bring the conflict to a peaceful resolution. Above the conflict, they were never criticized by Hashem for their roles. Certainly, they were never threatened with punishment. Secondly, there was Korach himself and his main supporters, Dasan v'Aviram. They denied the authority of Moshe's leadership and might have caused the sort of anarchy which is warned about in Avos, in which one person can swallow his fellow alive. Consequently, they were swallowed alive by the earth. Thirdly, there were the 250 dignitaries who actively challenged Aaron's priesthood by offering incense. They offered fire and were therefore consumed by fire. Lastly, there was the great mass of the nation. They looked on passively, even remotely. Moshe claimed that they did not commit any transgression, and ultimately they escaped all punishment. But strangely, Hashem had threatened to destroy them as well. Hibadlu mitoch ha'ida hazot v'achale osam kiraga. Separate yourselves from this congregation, and I will consume them immediately. What, if anything, had they done to justify Hashem's anger? The Ramban taught that the nation originally supported Moshe and Aaron without reservation, but then Korach's public demonstrations and his libertarian demagoguery began to turn their hearts. Korach claimed to be fighting for their honor and for their privileges. The Ramban explained, "Vayitav hadavar be'einehem, v'ka'alu kulam lirot ulai yishar be'einei ha'elokim, v'tashuv havodah livchorehem." The matter was appealing to them, and they gathered to see perhaps this is just in the eyes of God, and the divine service would return to their firstborn sons. I find this comment striking because it indicts the nation not for an action of rebellion, not for heretical speech, not even for critical thought, but only for a doubt. Perhaps Korach is correct, perhaps Moshe is wrong. The Torah demands of us ethical excellence, and this is impossible to achieve so long as we have lingering doubts. Passionate divine service, including the willingness to sacrifice one's comfort, one's property, sometimes one's life, can only be sustained if it is founded on intellectual clarity and commitment. We often speak of the need to internalize our ideals, to develop an emotional sensitivity which is congruent with our values. But in order to truly give ourselves over to these ideals, we must first be certain of them cognitively, committed to them intellectually. Korach's public challenge to Moshe's leadership engendered vague doubts in the minds of the people. Ulai, perhaps. And if this could happen to Dor HaMidbar, this can certainly happen to us. In order to achieve the ethical excellence which the Torah demands of us, we must be willing to stand in the breach, to recognize the challenges that confront us and the effect they almost certainly have on our clarity and our commitment. In my mind, I see part of my job as an educator is to teach students how to translate vague doubts into clear questions. Because while doubts only paralyze, questions invite exploration and study. Ultimately, sharp questions lead to compelling answers and renewed commitment. And this is a goal, I believe, which is shared by students and faculty alike here at Michlala.